is standard.
It's standard, yeah. It
The
takes a few
broadcast
minutes.
is live.
We are
We're
live
live
for no
Hi.
reason.
for no
I
reason
think
at
this is
all.
episode. What is this? Episode 5, Baba Rans?
I don't know. I lost count already. I'm just here for the ride. Like, y'all are already way too enthusiastic for me.
Hey, I'm just excited. It's been
I
a good
know.
week, man. It's been a good week.
I'm happy. I like seeing y'all happy, so don't worry.
I'm Mess Hall Diggs. Y'all know me already. I'll let everyone else introduce themselves. You should know Bobby B now. He's the guy who makes love to his plants. You know Bobby. Baba
I
Rans.
wish
But we'll go ahead.
that was
You
physically
Go ahead,
a
Bobby
thing that
B.
could happen.
Bobby B, go ahead. It's up. You're up,
Oh.
man.
I mean, y'all, don't look me up. Just let's leave it at that. Resell royalty. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. I am a part-time reseller and I'm also a sociologist. So I have a full-time job outside the home. I work in nonprofit. I love nonprofit work. I could never do anything but that in an office setting. I just love to give back to the community and empower people. But anyway, when I come home, I resell. And I just kind of stumbled into this business like most people did. And I sell mostly fashion, clothing. I love picking up anything vintage. That's my love. And yeah, I sell on Poshmark, eBay, Mercari, Etsy, Facebook Marketplace. I think that's it. Tradesy. I started selling Tradesy.
Nice.
Crazy. Okay.
Why put yourself in a box? I refuse to put myself in a box. I try
Makes
a little
sense.
bit of everything. If it doesn't work out, no big deal.
Man,
All right, so here's my thing.
Oh, my bad.
I got a question. Let me go, Bobby. Let me go.
Let him go.
Go for it.
The first thing I noticed was when I post on Instagram, and I do my little hashtags on my posts that no one gives a shit about. I always put like thrifter, thrift for life, resell, reseller, whatever. And then I look at her name, Resell Royalty, and I'm like, man, I've been spelling this shit wrong the whole time.
Oh,
Am I supposed to put it like that? 'Cause I'm putting it RESELL. I'm like, no wonder I got like 4 followers.
No, you're doing it right. You're doing it right.
Okay, so tell me.
Resale is the act of reselling of a sale. A reseller is somebody who resells items. You're doing it right. You're a reseller.
That's when I decided to buy a dictionary. And
you did not buy a dictionary in 2021. You're not that old. Come on.
He's old.
Hey, now you'd be surprised. I got the Macho Man hat on. You don't know nothing about Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yes, I do. How are you going to tell me that? Listen here, brother.
Fans?
Monday. What was that?
Are y'all wrestling fans?
Yes, I'm a huge wrestling fan.
I'm familiar with it.
I'll tell you what I just did. So my favorite wrestler when I was a kid was Hillbilly Gym. I don't know if you remember him.
Oh my god,
he was kind of buddies with Hulk Hogan.
Yes.
He was never like a title contender. He sang his own entrance song, that whole deal. But I found one of his. I used to have the rubber wrestlers, the ones that are like this big.
Oh yeah.
When they first came out, it was like 1984, and I had a bunch of them. But of course, I was, I ain't gonna tell you how old I was. I was wanting to play with toys in '84, but I never had the Hillbilly Gym. I had like the Hulk Hogan, the Big John Stud. I had the Junkyard Dog, but I always wanted the Hillbilly Gym. And here I am, 30 years later. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna get a Hillbilly Gym. So I finally found one on auction.
Nice.
I bid on it. I was the highest bidder. I won it. And now it's in the mail. And I'm like a kid again, man. I'm like, I can't wait for Hillbilly Gym to get here so I can put them on my shelf. I got a big shelf, Tina, and it's got all these toys from like the 80s and 90s on it. So
that's rad.
I'll just add it to the collection.
I collect a bunch of vintage toys. I don't have room for everything I have, which is ridiculous. So I keep buying it if it's just going to sit in the storage room. But I just keep buying it because it reminds me of my childhood. I love it. And I used to watch Hillbilly Gym, Junkyard Dog, all that. That was my stuff back in the day. I still remember when I found out it wasn't real.
Oh no.
My heart broke because I was so excited. We went to the Coliseum and watched the matches and all that. I was destroyed.
Dang.
Yeah, my mom said I used to cry because they used to do like those tricks where they would cut themselves with razor blades or whatever, make themselves bleed, and she said I would be crying like, he's bleeding, get him a doctor. But yeah, wrestling's big time.
You remember the Iron Sheik? Like we all hated the Iron Sheik.
Oh, we hated the Iron Sheik.
Y'all are like old. I grew up in the Attitude Era, so like all the names y'all are saying are the people who were like in the Hall of Fame by the time I was watching. Like Hillbilly Gym. I don't like that one I've never heard of, bro.
Dude, look him up. He was like 6'7". He wore overalls and like this leather hat, and it was crazy.
Oh, I think I may have seen him. I like the ones from that era that I'm familiar with are like was Sergeant Slaughter from that era. Sergeant Slaughter. Like just about everyone else you mentioned, I'm familiar with, and I know a few like obscure ones. Like, wasn't there some like handsome something, and he was like some blonde hair, like he found flamboyant.
Ric Flair.
I think this guy was basically, he had that aesthetic before Ric Flair perfected it and actually became the one who was remembered for it.
Rude had the towel.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that guy
and everything, and then Brutus the Barber Beefcake and
my god, that sounds like the '80s, bro. Like
it was awesome, dude. $1 Million Man had the mullet, right? And now look, everyone's bringing the mullet back.
Yeah, the mullet is back. It's been back for a minute.
It is definitely coming back. Women are wearing it.
I'm gonna grow me a mullet. I think that's the next hairstyle. I don't know. My hair's getting a little thin up top. That's why I wear a hat.
Oh, bro, my hairline has gone full retreat.
Thin up there.
But yeah, so
Bobby B, what you been up to, man? What's going on?
A lot of crying, a lot of mental break. I'm playing. I've just been chilling. I'm
we got a sociologist on the show.
Oh,
I might be able to help you.
So I was gonna say,
therapy session, bro.
Yo, Mess, like if you're gonna bring me on this stuff, like you gotta get people with less credentials, bro. Because like you're making me look bad. It's like, what do you do? Oh, I'm a longtime chef owner, co-owner of this and that, and they go, I'm like, what do you do? It's like, I'm kind of a piece of shit. Like I really don't know how to put it nicely,
No.
Stop.
You're my favorite, man.
Hey.
I have mad respect for people that can grow plants because I cannot.
When people ask me about that too, I say the same thing. Like, you know how they say you talk to your plants. I think my plants enjoy watching me have mental breakdowns and freak out, and that keeps them.
They're sympathetic.
Yeah, I've heard that too. But I think
he makes his own hot sauce too.
You guys make hot sauce? Out.
Yeah, I make hot sauce. So, and I
want to try it.
One day I have some ghost peppers going and some Caribbean like super hots right now. So don't worry, like there's gonna be plenty of hot sauce. And
don't let them lie to you. Don't let them lie to you. I've been hearing this story since February.
You've been asking, and I've told you every time I need to grow these peppers. I need to ferment them.
I'm gonna send you some.
I never said that. You've been more like, hey, when are you gonna send me that hot sauce? Like randomly after like 3 months, and then I'm just like, when I have some in stock. Anyway.
Oh, yeah.
You'll get some, okay?
All right, hey, shout out Hollywood Resellers in the chat. What's up, brother?
Hey, Hollywood Resellers.
You're in for a treat, man. We have
don't lie to them.
Most talented person that we've ever had on the show. So you're in Arizona, right, Tina?
I am. I'm in Arizona. Love it, in the desert.
What part of Arizona?
Sierra Vista. You've probably never heard of it.
I got family in Mesa.
Fort Huachuca. You heard of Fort Huachuca, haven't you?
Yeah, Huachuca. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in that right there by Fort Huachuca, same city.
Yeah, that's where we send all our MI guys, all our military intelligence dudes to train. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an intelligence base, but we're like an hour from the border of Mexico. So it's just a small military retirement community. I love it. 101 degrees today. Yes.
I feel you on. I'm sweating right now. I'm probably gonna have to wipe my forehead. No lie. Like, I'm not even playing. Like it sounds like that's a joke. Like I'm feeling it, yo. I bet the only reason I haven't used my face is because you will see all the gross sweat on my collar pulling up.
Now, where are you located?
I'm literally closer to Mexico. I'm in the southmost part of Texas, the Rio Grande Valley. So like everyone here is Mexican. All my neighbors, like we're all like, I grew up Mexican, like, and you won't find white people here. You won't find Asians. Like it's all Mexicans.
Oh, yeah. Nice. I've been to El Paso many times.
Oh, El Paso is a 12-hour drive to north and in the direction.
I'm sorry if I offend anybody. It's called the armpit of Texas.
Oh, El Paso. Oh, yeah. It is. I mean, we're. I mean, I'm not a better part of the body, but you know, I know what bad Texas looks like, and I've driven through El Paso, and it looks not far off from my community, so I can tell you it's garbage.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm playing it. If anyone from El Paso, don't unsubscribe to Mess Hall. That's my opinion. Okay.
It's not his fault.
Yes. Mess Hall loves El Paso.
Way, I'm at that level where if someone unsubscribes, I feel it. I can see it.
Really?
Dude, no,
it's
listen.
Like a gut punch, right?
Oh. Yeah, I did. I was watching Buffalo Picker, who's my homie. That's my boy. I was watching his live show. And he's like, hey, man, I just noticed I lost like 500 subscribers. You know, I'm trying to get to 10,000, and I'm wondering where 500 subscribers went. Is anybody else experiencing this?
My God.
And I typed in, I said, you're losing more subscribers than I have, brother.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what you're talking about.
But I do hear other resellers say that they lose like big chunks of people. It's something with the YouTube algorithm.
I've heard of the same thing from every YouTube community that I watch. There's always that thing where it's like, I'm not sure what happened. Or even people in the comments would be like, I've subscribed. I'm not sure. Like, it's been a minute. So I checked up on your channel. And then they're like, I don't know why I got unsubscribed.
Yeah.
And so
it's a thing.
Weird. It's a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so my theory, it's weird, man, because like I've been on YouTube for over a year now, and I've had some big fluctuations here and there, but for the last couple months, it hasn't been really, because I think the algorithm is like if they subscribe to your channel, I guess they track how many watch hours that they have on your channel.
It's a
if
weird.
It doesn't qualify, then they kick them off or something crazy like
that. It depends on it depends on the persistency of the upload, some of the search terms that are trending at that moment, and the other big thing is how many people comment and actually interact with the like button. So like even earlier, I got a comment from someone telling me like, "Oh, I got this video recommended," and so it's like, you know, it's basically when someone's, and I've had a few videos that like get picked up. And then you'll see where like people won't like them, and then like it gets all of a sudden like 700 views, and then it just stays there. Other videos I'll get 200, and then like I'll all of a sudden get an influx of comments, and the video's at a few thousand views, and like and it's just I don't know how it works, but if I cared about subscribers and views and watches and all that, I promise you I would feel bad. But I make content more for like myself, and not all of it's good.
That's why we love him. That's why we love him.
But I think what offends me more are people that certain people who I would feel bad if they unsubscribe. But like if I go to like 70 to like 69 or 60, like I'm like, oh, whatever, like yeah. But like if I find out that it was like someone that's like Rini's kind of annoying now, then it's like, I'm like, what did I do, man? Come on. But yeah, that's how I feel. That's my take on that.
I got 6 people watch my videos, and 5 of them are related to me. So that's it.
I have like 5 people who watch my videos. One of them's me, and the other 4 like are actually they want to see me doing horrible.
Shit, man. I watch them. You see me.
I watch your stuff too, but you got to understand, I'm not a reseller. I can't watch the whole 15 minutes and be like, oh wow, this is totally related.
I'm not a gamer.
I don't only post game content.
Thick ass snipe job. Pew pew.
And it's 1 minute. And it's 1 minute.
Hey,
nah.
Whatever, man.
Hey.
You know what? I watch your videos.
You got yourself when you unsubscribe. How about that?
I'm gonna unsubscribe now. I'll never get unsubscribed because I actually watch your shit. So they go.
Okay. I'm sorry, man. So I'll encourage you. Okay, my bad.
You know what?
I'm still going to report
you. Support other YouTubers, especially, people in my community that are under 1,000 subs. I just want to support other people. So like, I'll even do searches sometimes. And I mean, you have to really search to find them. They're hidden in there.
It is.
Now, I'll let the videos play to give them watch time.
Oh yeah, I do that.
Back on my subscription list when I'm listing my items or whatever. Like I'm not even watching it, but YouTube thinks I'm watching it. So that kind of helps other people, with their watch hours. But I'll do stuff like that when I have time,
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, you gotta try. I mean, that's the only way the community is gonna grow is if we help each other, really.
For sure.
Because we're the only ones. We're in such a weird like niche, like a weird, section of YouTube that there's so many different, areas of what resellers are. Because you got the Amazon and the eBay,
and the prison reseller. Apparently,
you do the thread up boxes, and you have just so many things to like try to get through. The rabbit hole is really deep on the resale game. So
it's really deep. And like you said, one thing you mentioned earlier, I want to touch on, as far as resellers go, it can be really repetitive. Like you said, like even I do unboxings from different places. I order stuff just because people want to know what are they getting in the boxes. But I get kind of bored doing that. And I'm like, I need to set myself apart from other resellers on here. What do I have to offer that's different? Like the prison reseller, he has something unique to offer.
Yeah.
Right? So I decided last week, I'm going live. I love to talk to people. I speak in front of 500 to 1,000 people for my 9-to-5 job all the time. Nice. I'm good with it. I'm comfortable with it. So why shouldn't I put myself on the camera and talk to people? And as a matter of fact, I want to engage with the people that subscribe to my channel.
Yeah, for sure.
I want that real-time engagement. I love that so much more than recording a video and just setting play. I want to talk to people and get that feedback in real time. So that's what we do.
Yeah, and that should be the reason why we all started. I mean, you always hear, like I bring this up a lot, but people will say, if I can help change one person's life or show them a way to make extra money, that it was all worth it. Well, that's a lot of bullshit for most people.
Yeah, I'm trying to make
I want to change one person's life, but I also want to make 10 grand a month on YouTube.
Yeah.
There's always a hidden agenda behind everything.
I want to make fun of people.
People like me and Tina, like it's legit that one person.
Sorry, guys.
You're going to say that laugh.
I got Deborah. Deborah Sadler's been with me from like video one. She's watched like all 100 of my videos. She comments on all of them. She messages me on Instagram. Like she's my ride or die. I send her shit. I give her stuff all the time. I give her advice all the time. That's the important thing, man, because people like us have to get in front of a camera and put as much info out as we want. And that's the one reason I love the community is because we all have something different to offer. There are things that I do that you don't do. There's things that work for me that don't work for you.
Yeah.
And your job as a viewer is just to grab all these different sections of everybody and try them out and then devise your own plan. Right. But resellers have to have some kind of voice. And that's how I feel like, we're all different. We all are in the same kind of category, same niche. We do the same thing, but we're all different. I watch all the resellers. They're all different. A lot of them do a lot of different shit than I do.
Oh, yeah. A lot of people that subscribe to me are primarily eBay resellers. They do the picking, the good yard sales, all that. And I go to their lives and watch their videos. I learn so much because that's not my area. However, guess what? I start expanding a little bit on what I'll pick up now and sell because I watch these guys, including you, Mess Hall Diggs, pick up stuff. And I'm like, oh, that sells. I didn't know that. I'm going to start picking that up now. And they sell. So we learn from each other. We really do.
All right, let's go real quick. Hollywood Reseller wants to know, what games do you play? Hey, I'm on that Mario 3 Nintendo, baby. What's up?
Oh, don't even get me.
What do you call that? The raccoon Kanushi thingamajig?
Monday. Oh, you're talking about Super Mario Brothers 3 back in the old school?
Yeah, man.
Oh, yeah. That
he wants to know, what games do you play? What do you play, Bobby?
Oh, me? Oh, man, don't even get. I'm like, I don't like the nerd community, but that's basically what I am. As far as playing video games, I mean, I'm pretty run of the mill when it comes to like first person shooters. So I do play Call of Duty, but but I actually follow the story. I'm a really big fan of Fallout, from like Fallout 1, even though 3 was the first Fallout I played. That's one of my favorite franchises. Metal Gear Solid is also one of my favorite franchises. But BioShock, I also love. I'm pretty into Mortal Kombat, but more like the old school, like 1, 2, and 3. Like I had a uncle who was kind of like a band geek in high school, but when I was younger, I didn't have the internet, but we had a Super Nintendo. So I grew up with like NBA Jam and Mortal Kombat 1 to 3. And like, even sometimes my friends who are my age were like, oh, I've never played NBA Jam. And the next 4 hours is literally us just getting drunk, like totally playing old school games that they've never played before.
Yeah,
I love
man.
it, but
like
I love all kinds
of games. You played Tecmo Bowl, right? Tecmo Bowl?
No, I played it once, but that one's a little too old for me. I do like some of the Atari games. Like
too old, huh? Dang. All right. What are you playing currently? What's your go-to?
I haven't turned on my PS4 in a while. The last thing I was playing was Yakuza Like a Dragon, which is I've never played any of the Yakuza games. So this one's a turn-based RPG it's freaking a ridiculous game, and I love it to death. That's the last thing I played. Lately, I've been playing a lot of my Oculus Quest 2, which is a VR headset, and that one I'm playing Pavlov. I play what's it, Super Hot. And I've been playing like just a run-of-the-mill VR games lately. That's really been my thing.
What about Counter-Strike? Hollywood's asking about Counter-Strike.
Oh, Counter-Strike. Oh, he's a Counter-Strike guy. Yo, that's a whole other tier of like gamer. Like those guys hear everything I just said and then call me slurs. You know, like that's the Counter-Strike community. Like
that's their own. They have their own culture, huh?
Oh, bro, Counter-Strike is like that. That
Star Trek thing going on.
You cannot be bad at Counter-Strike and be part of that community. That's one of those games because it's been going for 20 years. So the people who are still playing that game are like really into it, and I can't blame them. It's just definitely like I like games that don't have an aim assist and all that. And this guy knows. And Counter-Strike is you have to be the best of the best. But I also don't have a gaming PC, so that's also why I've never been into the Counter-Strike. But yeah. My bad if I just totally went off there, y'all.
Hey, no, hey, I just learned. Now I know what's going on. I mean, my son's a gamer.
Yeah.
You know, he's into that Fortnite crap and stuff, though. But,
yeah.
So, Bobby, do you play that? It's kind of newish around Christmas. It came out that game with where you make your own person, even down to the appendage.
There's a few games like that nowadays. That seems to be
It's like a newer.
I'm trying to. Oh, you're thinking of Cyberpunk, probably.
Yes.
Yeah. What about Cyberpunk?
I just wonder if you play. I hear my husband's a gamer, big time.
Oh, that game has a huge controversy. That game has a huge controversy right now because essentially, games that take. First off, that game was announced like 7 years ago. So the big controversy with it is that people have essentially been waiting that long, but because of the timing of the release of the PlayStation 5, they were kind of doing a thing where it's going to be available on not as prominent hardware that could run it, but even the stuff it was optimized for, it can't run it properly. So people who were essentially waiting 7 years got delayed and are paid for it all those years ago to invest in it. They're still complaining about this game literally not working.
Yeah, my husband said this is trash. I can't use this. I was like, what?
And that company had a clean have you ever heard of The Witcher by any chance? They made the whole Netflix show about it. Like,
I see
toss a coin to your Witcher. I've never watched. I don't have the attention span to watch TV. But basically, that series was only popularized because of that game company. That was a failed book from like some European guy who wrote it back in like 1991. I could be wrong about this, and he sold the license and rights for like $11,000. That video game company literally turned it into a multi-billion franchise off that game's back. And then that guy came back later and sued them because he was like, I sold my story for $11,000 and you guys are over here like buying. Yeah, it's crazy.
Really popular.
Yeah, it's crazy when you could. I think a lot of people will think video games are like for nerds and losers, and they are. Don't get me wrong. I'll never not say they're not. But it's also, you can't dismiss the story and the value that you could actually get from video games. Like I remember my hipster friends in Austin. I'd be there playing Metal Gear Solid 4, and there's a very famous, because this is a series that was written in the 80s. So me as a kid who never got to play them, there was a point in my life where I got a PS3 for the first time. I was so excited. I had modern technology. So I played all those games, and there was a moment where I actually teared up. And I remember telling my friend about this, and he looked at me like, man, you're so lame. And he had a friend legitimately show up like 5 minutes from then. He's like, bro, is this Metal Gear Solid 4? Dude, I remember crying to this game. And I looked at my friend like, you going to tell him something too, you jerk? Like, and of course, I just let it be. But, you know, people are really quick to dismiss that you could feel something from that stuff, and I think turning that game into a show kind of proved that. Anyway, my bad. I went off.
Didn't the dude that played Superman, wasn't he in the lead character?
Yeah, he was the main character. Cavill. I literally
Henry Cavill or something. Henry Cavill.
Yeah. He looks like the character. Geralt is like any video gamer will just see the character. Like I've never played the game. It's too complicated It's definitely not for me. I'm not into like magic or anything like that from back in the day, and you'll recognize a character, and that guy, they probably could not have got a better person to like actually portray him. Anyway, my bad. So y'all,
so we covered video games for the last freaking 17 minutes.
Hey, he friggin' asked and you asked too. You probed me.
Let's get back.
That sounds wrong.
Our guest. This ain't the Bobby B freaking reality show. Let's get back to the guest. All right, so you live in Arizona. Is that where you've always lived? You grew up there, or where are you from?
I am a Hoosier. I'm originally from Indiana. I'm a Midwest girl.
Where at in Indiana?
Fort Wayne.
How far is that from Nashville?
Northeast area by the Great Lakes. From Nashville? Oh Lord, maybe 4 or 5 hours.
Northern Indiana?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right up by the Great Lakes.
I got you.
Lots of snow, lots of ice. Too much for me.
Yeah, because I drive through parts of southern Indiana sometimes when I'm going.
Oh yeah. Southern very different from north.
Yeah. As most places are. That's how California is. Because I'm from California. Yeah. I'm from Northern California. And most people can tell I'm from Northern California. Because Southern California is way different than Northern California. It should be two different
states. You don't
states.
Respect them.
No, I mean, it's cool. But
I mean, I don't respect them. I'm playing.
Like 5 more
jealous.
I know, I was about to say.
We're jealous because they got the good weather down there. And we don't have the good weather in that area. So we're jealous.
I just went to Roseville, right outside of Sacramento.
Yeah, I know where that is. Yeah.
Last year I went there for work. And I couldn't believe I'd never been to NorCal before. Only Southern California. And I was like, this area is so different from Southern California. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. Beautiful. Went to Yosemite, all that. Gorgeous. Very different.
Yeah, that's where I'm from. I'm from the crazy Bay Area, the city of craziness.
Oakland and all that.
Yeah, that's where I grew up, in Oakland, Hayward, El Cerrito. I used to hang out in Berkeley a lot.
Oh yeah.
I felt like I fit in Berkeley because it's like every different culture you can think of walking the streets together. And you could just be in your slippers and PJs in the middle of the day. No one cares. You know, they're smoking joints walking down the street. No one cares. It's just like the coolest. It's like the last hippie community left, I think.
Yeah.
California. But it was just so chill and everybody vibing and no one cares. And, you know, the coffee shop was the coffee shop still. And everyone had a guitar and, you know, wearing snow hats in August and all that good stuff. You know, it's just
so
everyone had dreads and beads and it was a cool time, man. It was a really cool time.
Right on. I would love to live in
California. Plus back then, you know, mom could just drop me off by myself in the middle of the city, you know, 9, 10, 11 years old. Like, I'll pick you up in 4 hours. And then, you know, you just hang out, go to the candy store, just chilling, man.
Well, back in the day, we could do that, though.
Can't do that.
I mean, my parents did the same thing. They just never came back from me.
The people in the streets of Berkeley were my babysitters. They took care of me while I was walking around. Hey. You know, a couple dollars in my pocket. And what's funny, I was thinking about this the other day, is like my mom, I think I learned how to hustle from my mom because I used to get like $5 a week allowance, right? And so she paid me $5 on my allowance. And I was always about, you know, I'm going to go get some G.I. Joes or whatever. And then she'd be like, hey, let me borrow that $5 and I'll pay you back next week because you don't really need nothing. I was like, all right, mom, here you go. And then next Friday would roll around and she'd give me my $5 allowance, not knowing she really owed me 10 because she borrowed my other 5. But she just gave me my $5 allowance and I just go on about my day, never thought about it. And then she's like, see, you're getting hustled. You don't even know it, but your mom is hustling you. She's like, I owe you $10. How do you not know that? Remember I borrowed your $5? I owe you $10. Quit letting me hustle you. And I'm like, oh, I didn't even know. Yeah, those are the lessons I used to learn.
I remember finding out the hard way what playing Pogs for keeps meant. And it was like, you know, like I said, everyone's Mexican here. And he was a kid who was way more Mexican than me. And he was like, we play for keeps. And he said it fast, totally knowing that. I was like, oh, sure, man. I want to be cool. I want friends. And he took all my freaking Pogs. I was so upset. That's how I learned not to get hustled.
Right.
I used to trade like shitty Nintendo games for good ones. That's what I used to do back in the day.
Oh, I've done. I've had a few bad trades.
That was my first hustle. And then I would sell lollipops to the kids, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And I'd be like, hey, man, they're 25 cents each or 3 for $1. And they're like, oh, let me get 3. I'm like, all right, man.
Sounds like a lot more.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it was fun, man. It was a great education growing up in the Bay Area, man. I wouldn't trade it for the world.
I bet.
All right, so what brought you to Arizona? Just work? Just
family.
Where'd you go to college? You went to college in Indiana, huh?
I went to college in New Mexico State University. Go Aggies.
Oh,
dang.
Okay.
I moved to Arizona because one of my family members moved here, and then another sister moved here. So I was like, well, I'm the only one back here. So I moved out here, fell in love with the weather. It's just awesome. And that was it.
If you have a good AC, I can imagine. It's awesome.
In a pool. Gotta have a pool.
Yeah, my house is kind of old, so like it's brick, which does okay, but the roof is not insulated, and so it's literally you stand up and you can feel where the cool air is sort of like at chest height, and you just feel the top of your head just warm. Like that's here in Texas, so I'm sure Arizona is too different.
Are you in your garage? Are you in the garage right now? Your garage?
No, I'm in like my little like workout room. It's kind of.
I'm talking to Tina, man.
Oh.
Are you in your garage?
This is my inventory room. That's all my bins of stuff.
Okay, so it's air conditioned though.
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah. That was one of my kind of fears because all my inventory's in my garage.
Oh.
It gets really hot out there, so I can't. There's certain things I have to keep in my office. That I worry about things melting and whatnot. But
yeah, and then you get an open claim for return.
Yeah, whatever. What? Hold up your cup again, Tina. Is that $200 Starbucks tumbler joint?
Probably.
Have you looked that up on eBay?
I'm selling some already for like $55 right now.
Oh,
nice.
But not this particular one.
I think that colorway is like the $150 one, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, maybe I'll sell it.
Might want to check that out.
I might have to sell it. I just liked it, so I bought it. But those cups sell for quite a penny.
Oh yeah.
All right, we're gonna go with this question, and I want everyone to answer this one.
Okay.
So this is one of my favorite questions to figure people out. But I want Tina to tell me and Bobby B, what were you like in high school?
Oh God!
Now we're all grown adults, right? Bobby B makes love to his plant. I sell old socks.
Tina, I literally went on rants about video games,
helping us with our minds and our problems. But what kind of people were we in high school? What were you like in high school, Tina?
You know how in high school you have these groups, these in groups, like there's a clique, either it's the nerd group or the jocks, the preppies. When I was in school, you had the preppies, and then you have
the goth crew.
The all black leather and weather. Yeah. I wasn't any of those. I really wasn't. I just was your average person. I've always been the type of person I like to bring groups together. So I have friends in this group, that group, that group. I've always just been a social type person, but I don't know. I made good grades. I hung out with a lot of people, went to my high school years are my best years. I was dating the high school football star, but I was no prom queen at all. Nice. No way.
Did you play sports? You play sports in high school?
Volleyball.
Yeah?
I play volleyball.
I got a volleyball star myself. My daughter, man, she's going to be a junior this year.
Nice.
Good deal. I have bad knees now.
I just became the president of the booster club for the volleyball team.
Oh, wow.
And they got me in charge of the snack bar. So you know what that means. We're going to have some gourmet foods in the snack bar.
Oh, that's right, awesome. Chef.
Well, Chef Coy running the snack bar. It's on now, baby. You'll get chicken and waffles instead of them nachos. Chicken and waffles, all kinds of stuff.
Some pork belly nachos in there.
Pork belly nachos and some kimchi fries, and we're gonna do all kinds of crazy stuff.
Oh,
all right, Bobby B.
Yeah, what's up?
Tell me, man. You were the most popular kid in high school. I know.
No, I was very insecure, but like I guess I didn't realize that like people like were cool with me and liked me. It was the same thing where like I grew up as the guy who was like, yeah, man, metal. So like I did have the look of like cargo shorts and like combat boots and Pantera shirts, Alice in Chains, all that. Mm-hmm. But like my two best friends were like the top 10 guys, and we weren't party animals, but like the whole school, like, you know, we were cool with everyone. We didn't have enemies. We didn't associate with a lot of the other. It's almost like I was either hanging out with my friends that were into like metal that I grew up with, or I was hanging out with like my two best friends in high school, which were literally like, we were all science club guys. But it's not like I was popular. Like, I was just more insecure to realize like, oh, I probably could have been, because people seemed to be cool with me. But it was not bad. I didn't get picked on. I had a pretty good high school experience, but it wasn't like remarkable either. Mostly because I was just insecure and weirded out by myself. I think we all
are in high school.
Yeah. But I was to the
like, should I? You know.
But I was the person where like my friends who were like the popular people and stuff, I guess I wouldn't realize that like how often that they would actually talk to me, to where like people like my friend, like it got to a point where like my friends who were all dressed in black, they would be like, oh, Rini's hanging out with his preppy friends again. Oh, Rini's hanging out with his smart friend. Like, you know, they were like that just because they're like, oh yeah, like I see them. Oh, I'm going to take off and go with you. You know, like, yeah, it was like that. It was just cool with everyone.
Yeah, they would sign your yearbook like, you used to be cool, but now you're hanging with the golf dudes.
No, there's actually only 2 records of me in my whole yearbook for all 4 years, and I made it that way intentionally. Like I've always said, like I was that insecure where I purposely avoided like photos, because I was also I weighed a lot more then than I do now, and it like, even if I were to show you pictures of like how I looked in high school, like I was always like chunky, overweight, like, you know, that kind of look. But because of that, I always avoided photos. So the only photo of me is before, like when I lost weight, like my freshman year, and I looked ridiculous because I didn't know how to style my hair. So I hate that photo, decided never again. And the only other photo that I won our senior year costume contest, I didn't even join. But my favorite thing to do on every Halloween, if I dress up and go play, is just to cut holes in a sheet and put on the classic ghost costume, because no one ever thinks of it, and people go nuts for it. And so I did that. Right? Yeah. And so
the old ET trick, man. You remember the movie ET? They put that shit on ET, man.
Exactly. And so basically, like, I had some friends who were like a part of the yearbook thing. It was like, no, we put your name in. I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to go on stage. And so like that, the only other picture of me in the yearbook, I literally have the sheet on my head. So
that's awesome.
That's awesome.
So when I go on my crime spree, that's all you're gonna find.
It's the weirdest times of our lives, because like you said, we're all insecure. We don't really know who we are yet. We're trying to figure things out. We got all these different groups of friends. And like me, I played sports all through high school. So I was kind of with the jock crowd.
This guy.
But I had some friends that were nerds because they were just cool to talk to. I'm always like a conversationalist. I love talking to people. Yeah. And I love hearing different stories, different backgrounds. Like, because I grew up a certain way, kind of rough and poor. And I want to talk to the rich kids and see how they are, how their upbringing was. And then the nerds, like, why are you so into school? Like, tell me what's going on.
Yeah. See, you should be a sociologist. That's what we do. We study behavior patterns and the way that people interact with one another. That's what, when I was in college, I started out to be an accountant. And then I had to take an intro to social class. And I was like, that's what I want to do. That's what I'm interested in.
Yeah, it's like what you like to do. It's awesome, man. Just hearing, I just love stories. I've always been a lover of stories. Why I love music. It's why I love hip hop so much.
Yeah.
I just love stories and people's stories and their background, and just seeing where they came from, where they are now. Like I keep in touch with a couple guys from high school still, and just to see the paths that they took and why they took that path and where they are now and what regrets do you have. And they all still say, man, high school was the best. High school was the best because you don't have to really worry about much. You just got to worry about getting to school, hanging out. You're going to have fun. You're going to parties. You're dating different girls or different guys. And you're just trying to figure yourself out. Like we have some of our homies that were like kind of with the goth grunge crowd. You know, everyone has a band type shit. Like, I'm in a band, bro.
Yeah.
You know, those guys are like CPAs now. Like they own their own business and they're CPAs. And you're just like, how the fuck did that how did that turn into that? It's just it's incredible to me. I just love, like, a lot of people. One of my friends from high school commented on like a Facebook post, and he's like, man, you haven't changed one bit since high school. You're like the same dude you were in high school. I'm like, I don't know, man. I've just never really changed my interest since high school. All my interest has still been I got Hillbilly Gym on the way.
Nice.
I mean, that's worth celebrating.
Yeah, like awesome. all my favorite things from that period are still my favorite things. You know, there's nothing really too new. Just grew up a little bit, have some bills to pay now, but you know.
Yeah. You know what you was touching on? I really like the music aspect because I've always had mad respect for musicians, any genre. I literally listen to everything because they're able to emote, you know, just like explain their story or explain someone else's story and put it to music. I just think that form of expression, I just admire that. I don't have that ability.
Yeah.
But to see other people be able to tell a story, like you said, is just like, wow, that's deep, you know, and you just sit there and listen to it. You're like,
yeah, I was showing my daughter, my oldest daughter, who's now a soldier stationed in Alaska. But
wow, cool.
I was showing her like old Stevie Ray Vaughan videos when he was playing the guitar. He's like,
yes.
I mean, that dude, man, I could just listen to him all day.
Oh.
But like the facial expressions and stuff he was making, and she's like, "Why? What's wrong with his face?" I'm like,
guitar face, yeah.
I'll say, check it out, man. There's only two things he cares about in the world right now: is his guitar and the vibe the audience is giving him. Like that's all. Yep. He doesn't care about this. He don't care about his outfit. He don't care about nothing else. It's just him with his guitar, people listening to it. I said, you understand? It's like that thing, man. And she's just like, I don't get it, Dad. I just don't get it. I'm like, it's like, it's hard to explain, you know, to kids sometimes.
But you know why the younger generation doesn't get it? I'm going to give you the answer to that. You might lose some more subscribers.
I don't know.
Okay.
Okay. Hip hop, the current stuff is garbage. It is.
It's trash.
Mumble rap. Sorry if I offend you. It's trash. It means nothing. It has no meaning. It has no emotion. It's blah, blah, blah. I did it, and I got some gold chains, and I have some hoes. Like, what are you talking about? What are you saying? You're saying nothing.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I like it, but I won't defend oh yeah, it's like, oh, it just sounds cool. Like,
I want to hear from you. Tell me what you like about it.
So first off, I actually play music. Like I have a bass, like I slap bass and I can sing and slap bass and do everything. Not a lot of people know that I actually do like sing and stuff because like I'm very insecure about it. But I'm always surprised when I show someone and they're immediately like, God, like that. Like even not to brag because I never talk about music, but I've never wanted to because all my friends were into metal and that's like as much as I love all that stuff, I can't play it. Like I'm not interested. Like I sing more like blues and like very soul, like more like pop music, you know. And long story short, there's a lot of songs and people who have like been like, hey, I'm trying to make a band, and the first thing to them is kind of like, how about you write my songs for me and play bass? And it's like, no, that's not what I'm trying to do. And so I've never been able to find people I could actually play music with. But what I like about rap music is, I like the environment down here. Like I grew up in the projects, not like, oh, I'm so gangster, but like. All my cousins grew up listening to 3 6 Mafia. So like I grew up listening to all that kind of stuff. And me having like that being my roots, I can listen to the mumble rap and listen to it and actually be like, okay, I hear where these guys were influenced by that. And even if I'm not going to like be like, oh, it's speaking a story or like it has this emotional value, because not all the time. And sometimes it's very arrogant to where you can't even make that sentence without sounding like an idiot. But for the most part, I could see why people like it. And I like 2 Chainz. I like Suicide. But I also love Stevie Ray Vaughan. Lenny is the name of his guitar. Like I'm very familiar with like Zakk Wylde and like Randy Rhoads. Like I love all that stuff. But even if you want to go back further, like I also love like the Pied Pipers, like music when everything was black and white, like all that kind of stuff. Like I'll recognize songs from the 20s that are in like being portrayed in media in the background of like a scene where they're at a speakeasy and like I'll be like, oh, that song's actually this person and this person. You know, like I love music. And so by loving music, I can also appreciate mumble rap. And I don't think it's that bad.
I've tried.
That's fine.
I've tried. I just cannot.
Everyone has their opinions and they're entitled to it. Like I'm not the kind of guy where it's like, oh, you should feel this. Like, no, like, I mean, if you can, it's not going to bother me, you know, that someone doesn't like what I like. Like,
right. To each his own, for sure.
Precisely.
You know, but I'm just like, but that's why like the younger generation, Gen Z and all that, like they're going, I don't get it. Why did
I can't blame y'all.
Into his guitar riff, like
I mean, it's like kind of like expecting like my grandfather, God rest his soul. Like I would always try to explain to him. He's like, yeah, man, I'm paying for cable and it's always and always so upset. It's like you realize that if you took the time to actually learn how to navigate YouTube and Netflix and all this, which you already use a phone, that you would literally not be complaining about this, right? So I think there's kind of a level where I think there gets a point where it's like, I don't like how it looks already. So yeah, they get a taste of it, and then they're just not encouraged to ever go venture into other things like that. And I felt the same way about some video games that but to each their own at the end of the day. And it's not like, man, you should do yourself the favor and listen. It's like, no, if you don't want to, like, who cares?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's for me.
I agree with Scrotum Phillips. I love that name, by the way.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah, Scrotum.
Dude, yeah, what's up? Scrotum.
Yeah, old school rap. Old school rap is the best, man. But I'm with you, Baba Renz. I have kids, that at all,
Oh yeah, guitars are boring to like. I was in the era where like
they always show me like the new shit that's coming out, the new hip hop, the new everything. Yeah. I always give it, open mind. I put it on, let me hear it, let me vibe to it.
Yeah.
And some of it's okay, but most of it, I'm just like, it just doesn't. Yeah. It doesn't hit you like things used to hit you back in the day, man. Like you would just sit there.
There's one.
You would just sit there and think to yourself, like you would just listen and hear it and be like, man, I understand this shit. Like I understand this.
Tupac and Biggie, like you're in it. As soon as you start hearing
or even now,
Biggie's all right. Tupac's good. Biggie's all right.
Like the only kind of newer.
That's just me.
Listen, the only kind of newer. He's not even really new. He's been out, for like almost 13, 14 years now, is Yellow Wolf. Yellow Wolf is
you mentioned that guy.
My favorite now. He's
I have to check
because he's a storyteller. All he does is tell stories. He's just like, because he grew up ghetto, poor, and just tells stories from like where he started from, how he doesn't talk about gold chain. He just doesn't talk about any of that stuff. He talks about helping people. Don't give up on your dreams. Look at me. I made it. You can make it. And that's what it's all about, man.
Well, there's
it's just like watching Stevie Ray Vaughan play his guitar. Like he doesn't give a shit if he's there by himself playing it. It's like
well, there's this.
It's like making a YouTube video. It's like making I'm having a good time making a YouTube video. No one's gonna watch the shit, but I'm having a good time.
But we're having fun.
Yeah.
Lucas, he did one about he was
before he killed his friend.
No, that one's good too. But the one where he's in a room with like this Caucasian cop.
Oh yeah,
like, you don't get me. You don't understand.
But I'm not racist or something like that.
I think so. Yeah, and then
the
white man says, "Well, you don't get me."
Yeah.
And it was really deep. Because I was like, okay, that's telling the story. It's saying maybe if we actually talk,
hear each other out. Yeah,
we talked about our differences. We realized how much we have in common. Like that was deep to me. That was a story, and I appreciated that. I don't like all his stuff, but there's a couple of his songs, like the one where his friend killed himself, that I like too. But, so that's probably like some that I could listen to. But
yeah, I get you.
Yeah, it has to be.
I like. I'm not even a big fan of that guy. Like, I'm more familiar with that because it's like, yo, bro, you got to see this song. I'm like, okay. And it's like, oh, it's not bad. Me personally, the more arrogant, the better. There's actually a small YouTuber I follow, and he's a little black gentleman, super nerdy, but he's always showcasing. He's like, man, I need to hear stuff that makes, and he's going off on his lingo and everything. But he's like, man, this stuff's so arrogant. I need bad vibes, right? I'm just like laughing. I was like, man, the way you describe this music is like you're setting back like the civil rights movement 7 years every time you jam those tracks, bro. Like, come on, like. But it's funny stuff because he's like the tiniest, most like nerdy guy. Bro. Yeah, what's up?
Got a couple questions in the chat. Hollywood Reseller saying, "What are your thoughts on ICP? That's Insane Clown Posse, right?"
Oh, yeah.
I don't know anything about Insane Clown Posse except they drink Faygo, and I think they're from Detroit.
Yeah, I've listened to a few stuff.
And Eminem doesn't like them. Eminem doesn't like them. That's all I know.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
Yeah.
I know a little bit. They've always come off to me for, how do I say it? I think I've only met one person who was like actually like, yeah, I like ICP. That I was like, oh, you're actually respectable. That's a weird decision. Everyone else is usually like that I've seen. Like, no offense, Hollywood Reseller. I'm not talking about you. I'm sure there's some there's something there. But me personally, I've never been able to get into their music. But I do like Violent J. Like I've seen interviews with him, and he's actually like a real. It's freaky how those guys are so nice and down to earth. But when you see how they're portrayed, or like even their music and how they like it's weird. But ICP, not for me.
They got the alter ego thing going on, dude.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird
like
to see those
blend,
guys.
like hard rock and rap together, like they mix it.
I think they do every now and again, but like actually listening to them, it's definitely more in the realm of rap, but it's more like some of the albums have a lot more of kind of like a circus, like ice cream truck kind of theme. Like that's more like, it's not necessarily that they're mixing metal with it, but it's more like a goofy kind of vibe, but with like a dark theme over that. So, and that's not all the time. So, yeah.
All right, Scrotum is asking, do your kids like your music?
Oh,
my dad
Credence, bro.
Credence Clearwater Revival.
CCR.
That was my first actual like. When I was a child, remembering what music sounded like. I'll show you some down on hoodoo there. Like it's so like
wait a minute.
Yeah, like I love that stuff. Manda? What was that?
I'm about to produce your record. I heard you sing. That was good.
Yeah.
That's good.
No, but like I grew up with that stuff.
My kids, I gave them an education, let me tell you, because I grew up on Fleetwood Mac, Jethro Tull, Led Zeppelin, Queen.
Oh, I love Led Zeppelin.
That's what my mom listened to, and that's all I heard playing in my house. And I actually almost got kicked out of the house one time because I had her Jethro Tull. I had her Jethro Tull record on the turntable, and I was trying to be a DJ. And I scratched that shit all up, and oh man, I was on restriction for a while because of that. Because I thought I was a DJ and I wanted to cut some Jethro Tull records, not knowing what I was doing. I was like 8 years old, and I'm tearing the vinyl all up.
My God, dude, sorry if I could go into
the only artist, and I know it's. I mean, let's be honest. The artist. I'm talking about the artist, the musician, the performer, Michael Jackson.
Okay.
Yes, honey. Yes.
My kids loved him. Like I used to play his old concerts where he was in like Belfast or somewhere, and people are fucking passing out in the front row when he's dancing, and I'm like, this is what an artist is. Like people are having out of body experiences, passing out. Can't take the shit. Like that's how hard music should hit you, man. It's just like an experience. Like
the man was
like my daughter is still a huge Michael Jackson fan. She loves it. She got into dancing because of the videos I used to show her and all that stuff. She had her dance teams and she was doing all this stuff. And I took her to see a show in Germany. They had this show like the Michael Jackson Experience.
When he was still alive.
No, it was
the hologram.
He was still alive, but it was like kind of like a Broadway thing where it was on Michael Jackson on Broadway.
Yeah, I remember that being pushed like a year or two before he like died, and then a little. Yeah, I never understood what it was exactly.
Yeah, so I took her to it, and it was awesome. I mean, the dude playing Michael Jackson, he was Michael Jackson that night. You know what I mean? He had it down. The voice, the dancing, all that shit was on point. But as far as like hip hop stuff,
where I was going.
Stop it, man! That's why I said the artist, the performer.
He really had it down. He brought children on stage, and you'll never guess what he did.
The artist, the performer.
We can't talk about MJ like that.
Okay.
I forgot. Look at this. I got this right here, hanging on next to my wall. Look.
Nice.
This is why I like you. I knew there was something.
Still the greatest album ever made. Like I'm a hip hop head. Like fucking. Let me tell you this. I got jumped one time when I was walking down the street in Oakland because I was wearing a Public Enemy t-shirt. And nice. I went to the flea market and I forgot I had seen a video or something. I was probably 12 years old. And I bought one of those like beaded rope Africa necklaces. And I had a Public Enemy t-shirt on. Right. And I had my like LA Kings hat because NWA, they wore LA Kings hats. And I'm walking down the street, like, because I love the music, man. Like, I didn't fucking know, like, hey, you can't be wearing that shit.
Yeah. I love this.
Yeah, you're not the right demographic, homeboy, to be fucking rocking that shit around this area. So I kind of learned, and it was weird, man, because Like I can relate to that. I was going through this shit too. I can relate to the music because I'm going through it. Yeah. But
the music was made for everybody. Music doesn't have a color or a race.
Profiling is a thing. I look like wide enough where I've been profiled by like all types of crazy people. And that's the thing is that it's crazy people. It's not like, oh, it's just white people, black people. It's like, it's crazy, unrational people. So don't.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. Everybody thinks I'm Hispanic and I'm not.
I thought you were just like light skinned black. I'm not going to lie. Like that's where I was going.
I'm biracial. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So since we're on this subject of music, let's get into this question.
Yeah.
So it's your fucking funeral. It's over, dude. God. It's your funeral, and you get one band, artist, rapper to send you into the afterlife at your funeral. Man, who is it? Who is it? Tina, I'm gonna start with you. Who is it?
You already took my earlier. It's MJ. It's always MJ. The best
artist MJ.
Ever.
I don't know if you're taxing to heaven there.
No, look, if I could choose anybody, you just didn't have to be live.
Okay.
I didn't say
he's on contract.
That would be my dream. Send me on to heaven. Thank you. Have him doing the moonwalk across the casket. I'd be good.
There we go.
Okay, nice. Because look, kids today will never experience what we experienced when we watched the American Music Awards and that man came out and did that moonwalk across the stage. We're like, what?
That is pretty hype. I can imagine that's hype.
Next day I go to school, elementary school. I'm not that old. I went to elementary school. Everybody's wearing parachute pants. Everybody has zipper jackets. Everybody was whatever he did, he set the precedent. He is the king of pop. He totally set the precedent for the pop culture of the time. Yeah. There will never be another one like him ever. So yes, I would be happy.
Nice.
All right, Baba Renz, who is it?
Man, it's weird. I had this conversation, something similar the other day. I think funerals I've always told people, like, death is sad. I think about that stuff way too much. And so to me, it's like, yo, just throw me in a hole. But then it's like, no, but we want a service. And it's like, okay, you want a service where you're going to be sad? So I wouldn't hire a band. I've thought about this before. I would like make sure that in my will it stated, get a priest, the most lackadaisical, like monotone priest ever, and read 1 hour of the worst news headlines that day. Triple murder, no suspects found, all children victim. Oh my, and just that over and over again. So that way it's like, you want to go to my funeral? That's what Bobby, you want to be sad?
You're like, I'll pass.
Yeah.
Let's say a band has to play.
God dang it.
They have to be there.
How about NSYNC?
Have a band.
I see that would probably make people uncomfortable enough. I think you're onto something there. Yeah. I like that. I was kind of scrapping there. It's like I'd probably just have like someone playing a fork tuner and just hitting it over and over again. Just like, I don't want funerals aren't fun. I don't want people to I want reasons for people to not go to my funeral. Throw me in the hole, man. Like do something cool with my body. Fill me with fireworks, something.
No, see, I like. You guys know who Nick Swartzen is, the comedian Nick Swartzen?
No.
Okay, so on his comedy special, he had the best answer. He's like, yeah, at my funeral, I want it to be a party because that's who I am. I party. I'm known as a partier. He's like, so I want all this cool music playing. There's people like with the beach ball and they're doing the wave. And he said, and at the very end, you have my dead body on some wires just swinging down.
Yeah, I've thought about this before too.
I was like, holy shit. Well, look, so Hollywood Resellers saying Metallica or Slayer?
Oh, Metallica.
Metallica.
I respect Slayer. In fact, they came here recently and it was like such a huge deal because they had never been here. And it was insane to literally see people from this area who have been Slayer fans their whole life. And it was their last tour, and then out of nowhere, it's like, oh, they're sneaking in an extra date. My friend got to work the concert. He said it was the most insane. And even him, who's not a huge Slayer fan, he was like, I'm glad I freaking got to be in the presence of that show because it was insane. Awesome. So I respect Slayer, but I don't even I'm not a huge Metallica fan, but then I'll go through my playlist and realize, oh, there's at least 20 Metallica songs here, and I couldn't tell you the top 5 because they're all so freaking good. Metallica is awesome, and I've been hazed before for saying that Saint Anger was my introduction to Metallica, and that I don't think it's that bad of an album, which Metallica fans go nuts if you have that statement.
I'll tell you what, you want to see some good guitar face. Watch some Metallica perform live.
Yeah,
he got good guitar face on Metallica.
What's his name? James. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, James Hetfield and Kurt. I think Kurt's the other one.
Kirk Hammett. Yeah.
Carter says I love MJ much more, but I like Prince's Purple Rain to lay me to rest.
Nice. Yeah, so I like Prince more than MJ. I'll say.
I got a good story about Prince's Purple Rain, dude. So.
Oh.
I think it came out. When did it come out? 84, I think.
Yeah, I was about to say 83.
84, like 85. So I was like, I was a kid. I ain't gonna say how old I was. I was a kid. I was under 18. Put it that way. I was under 18. So my mom took me to see this movie in the theaters when it came out. Purple Rain. Now, this was my introduction to Prince, and I've been a fucking love Prince too. He's up there in my top 5.
Yeah.
Easily.
Definitely.
My top 5, I got like Tom Petty's up there, MJ, Prince, Tupac, Yellow Wolf still in my top 5 because I love his music. But I'm in the theater. There's one particular scene in this movie by Lake Minnetonka. If you guys have ever seen Purple Rain, Tina?
I've never seen it.
It was the second movie I ever saw in the theaters, first being one of the Star Wars movies, but the second my mom took me to see Purple Rain when I was a kid. Nice. And she's like, close your eyes.
So I didn't get the close your eyes moment. Oh. So, because my mom didn't know it was coming.
Nice.
Right.
So I'm sitting there and I see a woman in her true natural form for the first time by Lake Minnetonka. This young lady's name was Apollonia, by the way. And I was just like, okay, so that's that, right? Been a fan ever since, by the way, of Prince, that is.
I was about to say,
okay.
That was my introduction to that. But that music, man, dude, I mean, Prince.
Best album ever written, Purple Rain.
5'1" with 6-inch high heels running around.
Man, that freaks me out.
Damn Beethoven jacket, man. I mean, come on, bro.
He's an inspiration.
Best album ever. Best album.
To all the short kings, that man is an inspiration. God rest his soul.
Yeah.
So the first,
he had terrible hip problems before he died. He was in terrible pain.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of rumors surrounding.
Heels.
What I didn't realize is how many hit songs he was the writer of. He wrote a bunch of hit songs.
Yeah,
and that was surprising when I learned that. Like that Sinead O'Connor hit. That Prince wrote that song for her. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was like a B.
You can tell actually if you think about it.
Yeah,
you can tell he wrote it.
That was her only hit too.
Yeah, but he was amazing, man. Prince was awesome, and then he was one of those first ones that kind of changed his image, and he changed his name, and he was still still had those, and then he was on MTV Music Awards with the assless pants on and shit. You remember that?
I remember that.
Prince, dude. Prince was crazy, man.
My big introduction to Prince was actually Super Bowl. It was like 2003, 2005. But oh my God, like I had always heard like, you don't have to be rich or whatever, like Kiss. Like I was like, oh, that's awesome. Like I could get, and every other song that I knew was Prince. But like I remember being a child and like I guess like only kind of having an idea what he looked like, but seeing like Purple Rain. Oh my God, like I'm still thinking of that performance for like, oh, that was awesome. Prince is awesome. Like Prince. Even though I can't be like, oh, I love all these albums, because that guy literally has a music archive that is insane. But he played like every instrument, and my God, like that guy's a god. That man is a god.
A genius, musical genius.
Indeed.
What do you guys think of Lenny Kravitz, man? You guys like Lenny Kravitz?
Oh, I love him.
He's talented, but he's one of those where like I was a little too young, I think, to like. Oh, you're gonna come my way was like the song like from like what 1998. Like I was like 5 or 7, bro. Like so I never got that tuned up.
98. Jeez.
I was 92 December 22nd. So I was born at the end of 1992. So I can't do math right now. I was less than 10 years old.
Well, let's just say I could be your dad. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
I'm old enough to be your dad. How about that, Bobby B?
Don't worry, miss. You look like it. I'm playing, bro. I'm playing.
I got the gray and the beard coming in now.
Not even, bro. You're the best 55-year-old man I've ever seen.
That's right. I'm in great shape for being 55, right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. All right, so we've been going for about an hour now. So I want to ask one last question, because for me, comedy, I've been a comedy fan probably longer than I've been a music fan.
Oh God.
I got introduced to comedy really, really young. My mom was a huge George Carlin, Richard Pryor fan. We used to just nonstop, because I grew up, like I've told this story before, but it was just me and my mom growing up. I didn't have a father. I never really knew him. But me and my mom growing up, so she always found creative ways to just have like mom and son time, and comedy was always the thing that brought us together. It was always George Carlin records or Richard Pryor, and then Eddie Murphy came along, and then after that it was like Andrew Dice Clay. And comedy's a big part of my life. It always has been. It still is. So I always like trying to be entertaining and funny, and I feel like I have a good sense of humor. I don't know, maybe I do.
Yeah.
But I want to know. Just tell me a story, Tina. I'm gonna start with you again. Of a time you just remember laughing so hard, like the best laugh you've had in a while. It don't have to be like historic. Just something that really made you laugh, either recently or in the past, that you remember really well.
So that's hard because it has to be YouTube appropriate, okay?
Yes,
it does not have to be YouTube appropriate. This is fucking live for no fucking reason with Mess Hall.
I'm gonna tell you this story. The one time I know of that the next morning I woke up and my ribs were sore from laughing. So I'm like, okay, that was hilarious. Okay, so I was in Vegas having a girls' trip.
Oh, I love it already. Man, come. I need to
set the tone. It's like hangover.
Whole show.
Okay. And so it's me and my friend and my sister. And, we went out to Coyote Ugly and all these places, and we were lit. Okay. So we decided it's a good idea to get on the city bus. So we get on the bus, stumble on the bus, and we're sitting down, and I know I had to be doing this right here on my phone because you're spinning. You can't even sit still. Literally, you can't sit straight. And I turn around, and there's this dude who, he just probably works off the strip or something, just minding his own business. This is a terrible story. God's going to strike me dead for this. Anyway, he's sitting there, and I happen to look over, and so I guess he has, I think it's called elephantitis.
Oh yeah.
Like when they got one ear that hangs really low. Or
no.
Close. No. Enlarged, like abnormally enlarged, scrotum. And they were scrotum. They were packed in his pants on one side. And I'm like, what in the actual hell? I'm like, maybe I'm drunk. I'm not seeing this right. So now everybody knows when you're drinking, you cannot whisper. There's no such thing. You whisper. You think you're whispering, you're not. So my friend's on this side, my sister's in another seat because kind of packed, and I'm trying to text it to him, but I can't because I can't see the screen because everything's blurry. And I'm like, they're like, what are you typing me? What? And I was like, the dude, his balls are huge. And they're like, you're not whispering, fool, shut up. And literally, my sister's like, stop right here. We'll get off right here. Let us off. Because the guy's like, what? It was terrible.
My freaking God.
Conditions. It's awful. I wouldn't do it if I was sober. But we go, and I mean, I could not quit laughing. I've never seen anything like that in my life. And we literally get up to Excalibur, and I still have the photo somewhere that I'm literally like hand against the wall. And it looks like I'm holding up the whole resort, just laughing because I couldn't even breathe. I was laughing so hard. But they're all like, you dummy, you were not whispering. I've never seen anything like that. So the next morning we laughed all night because we were drunk. The next morning, my ribs were so sore, like I couldn't even move from just laughing all night. So that's one thing I can share that happened. But, when in Vegas,
things happen. In Vegas, you see it all, man. You see it all.
You see everything in Vegas.
You got one. You got one, Bobby.
And it's nothing that I should probably share. I can't think of anything that's probably appropriate either.
None of it's appropriate. None of it.
Oh yeah, well yeah. Yours, I guess mine are like, so there I was on this incredibly illicit substance, and like that's gonna be how all my like stories start, where it's like they're great times, no one gets hurt or anything, no one gets made fun of for things they can't change, especially, but definitely stories that
say it.
Hey, I'm right there with you. No worries. I'm probably I don't respect people with conditions either. I'm like, what are you? I'm playing. But no. Anyway, long story short, I can't think of a story that I could tell where I laughed like crazy.
You can't think of a story.
Must be bad.
Well, the closest one I could like really think of, but I also think there's a lot of like you would have to be there. Like my friends from Austin are like next level, like they're the kind of people who legitimately like not only are like some viral stuff I've seen that they're actually behind, but they're the kind of people who have Instagrams and they go to all types of like, actual like really not classy because like they're not snood or nothing, but they're super awesome, but super like they definitely don't talk the same way I do. And I was totally in their environment and they start talking about SIDS. And I'm like, and I know they're speaking about it in terms of like, medical, like, children or whatever. And me, of course, where I'm not drunk or nothing. I'm literally just like in my own head, like SIDS. And so I don't really have to say it out loud, but I'm like sudden infant Down syndrome. And like every single like person in the freaking room just looked at me and immediately just started laughing harder than I've ever seen any of those people laugh before. Like even my friends, like, dude, I've never seen this guy like go that crazy. Just because it was me thinking out loud, like, and of course they were talking about sudden infant. Yeah, they were of course talking about sudden infant death syndrome, but in my own head, I'm like sudden infant Down syndrome. Like about to ask you that's a thing.
Be like, but look what he said.
Hey, I was trying to clarify. Okay, like it was good stuff. Like.
I was just making fun of swollen balls. Look what you did.
I was trying to figure out if they were talking about dropping a baby and then that's what you call it right afterwards, like that's where my train of thought was going, but I didn't even have a chance before I realized how ridiculous it was and everyone was already completely laughing and just losing their minds. So that's the cleanest funny story I could probably tell y'all.
That's your clean story?
That's my clean story.
Woo!
That's your
judge-free zone.
Yeah, I've always told you I'm a bad person. That's why when you were like, "Oh, I'm a bad person," say it's like, "Oh no!" Like if you think you're a bad person.
No, it's not. It's not bad. It's just
I know. I obviously like
you were thinking out loud.
Precisely, and I just unfortunately people got insight to that. And yeah. Anyway, y'all.
Mess Hall has to give his funny story.
Oh yeah. What are you self-incriminate now too?
Yes.
Well, I don't have a story.
Well, one time there was this Chinese.
You don't even have a story.
Yeah, you do. Say what race they were, man. Could they change what you made fun of?
Okay, I'll tell you a story. Man, I got so many because I have a fucking good sense of humor. That's just what I've been blessed with a sense of humor. So we're in Nashville, right? And it's guys' night, kind of like a Vegas thing, but it's guys' night. And it's not even that funny, but once I give you like the whole scope of it, and what we're doing. But and like you said, alcohol is always involved. Like when you're about to piss yourself because you're laughing so hard, alcohol is involved. So we're down in Nashville. We're having guys' night. We're having fun, and so we have a designated driver, which everyone have a designated driver when you go out. Always have a designated
or the public bus.
So we have a designated driver. And so me and a couple other fellows that we have with us, we're doing Nashville. We went to every single bar on Broadway. There's country music playing. It's a Friday night. This is probably like, 6 years ago. And we're having 2 drinks, 3 drinks at each bar we're at. We're just blowing a bunch of money. We're just having a great time. So we get down to the last bar that is on the strip, and like I'm trashed, my buddies are trashed, and so we're sitting at the table, and I'm like, all right, it's about time we should go. You know, like it's getting late, things are dying down. And so this guy brings over like shots. He's like, no, we're gonna do another shot. Let's do one more shot. Let's end this night right. And so we all raise our glasses. We're like, guys, night Nashville, yeah. So we all do the shot. And then I look up and I'm like, wait a minute. The designated driver just took a shot with us.
Okay.
Great.
And one of the other guys is like, yeah, he's been doing shots all night.
Oh my God.
Oh Lord.
And so for some reason, like I just start dying laughing because I'm like, how the fuck we gonna get home? Dude? No one can drive. And then like fucking 20 minutes later, this guy's sitting on this chick's lap, you know, trying to pick her up without realizing she's sitting on her husband's lap.
My God.
Ooh,
so
that could go bad.
Her lap, he's sitting on his lap, and I walk over and I'm like, oh shit. And the dude's looking at me and he's just like, it's cool, man. It's hilarious. I'm having a good time watching this whole thing go down.
Jesus Christ. What a great guy.
So there's my
designated. He's very understanding.
There's my designated driver sitting on she got his arm around her and he's like, oh baby.
Wow.
That sounds like me, bro.
And I just started dying again. Like I never laughed so hard in one night. I'm just dying because it wasn't what he was doing. It was the husband that was sitting there just watching it. And I'm looking at her husband. I'm like, that's my boy. Like, and he's just like, oh, that's fine. Oh, this is funny. That's cool. I was just like, it was the funniest shit.
Some guys like that. They think, hey, that's kind of a compliment that somebody else is attracted to my wife or my girlfriend or whatever. Like,
yeah, I don't know, but the funniest shit is when the designated driver.
Yeah.
Toss it back. You're like, wait a minute.
Oh man. To me, it was the funniest thing to me ever. I was like, how are we gonna get home, man? But yeah, that's my
these days.
Freaking Nashville. Nashville's like a mini Vegas, man. Weird things happen downtown.
I love Nashville. Love it.
All right, so if that's nothing else from the chat that I've seen, Scrotum said maybe that guy had 2 beach balls in his pockets.
If we would have not been in the desert, like been by the beach, maybe I would have thought about that, but I don't know. Maybe he got a bunch of coins out of one of the jackpots and stuffed them down his pants. I don't know.
That's some wishful thinking there.
Yeah, I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to cover up, what I did.
I feel like if you were not a lady, that man would have fought you easily.
No, he probably didn't even know what was going on.
True.
He was looking at us, but we just hurried up and got off the bus. My sister's like, "Stop here! We went off."
He totally knew what was up. He absolutely. There's no way. I feel like
he just like, oh well.
It's like it's happened before. This is actually really nice compared. Even when I was younger, I remember, just real quick, going to Little Caesars, which is a pizza chain, and you were allowed to dine in. And I remember being with my little cousins who were way more ghetto and Mexican. And there was a man who clearly had some kind of condition, and his face was permanently scrunched. And it was the rudest thing that this little girl was literally laughing, and my uncle was stop laugh. She was like, but he looks funny. And she's just, and this poor man, you could see his demeanor change. And I'm like, I was 5 years old. Just this is the worst thing. I just wanted freaking pizza. Now I'm
But now I'm seeing how kids just say anything.
Yeah. But that's how the world is so unfair, where it's oh, he just looks funny, grandpa. And it's no, that man is sick and cannot change his terrible stuff. Anyway.
It's horrible. It's awful.
Indeed. Not good stuff.
So that's two for you.
Hey,
end the show.
I didn't laugh. I was sad. I'm laughing now, like 20 plus years later.
You're still traumatized from it all this time later. So
I've been forced to find the humor in it. Okay, because it's such a harsh reality. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, well, let's end on that note.
Indeed.
Right. Happy vibes, peace, love out there, everybody.
Yes. Thanks for having me on.
So, Resell Royalty. If I have any subscribers left after this show, tell people where they can find you.
Same name, Resell Royalty 74, right here on YouTube and on Instagram. Holler at me. Look me up.
There you go. Baba Renz.
If you're gonna look me up, only type in Baba Renz on YouTube. Don't do it anywhere else. It's probably inactive accounts. You can also follow my Hot Sauce and Plants page at RioHot956. That's RIOHOT 956 on Instagram, and even YouTuber Justin Wang follows me. That's like a huge accomplishment of mine. So yeah, just y'all could, if you watch this, follow my hot sauce, man. You don't have to follow me on YouTube. In fact, I prefer you don't follow my hot sauce.
Have you ever been to Pepper Palace, by the way, in New Orleans?
No, I've never been to New Orleans.
Store of nothing but hot sauce. And you get a good taste test. And if you try the ghost pepper, the really hot ones, you have to sign a disclaimer saying
the bad thing about it is ghost pepper is like now like entry level for like super actual hots. Like it's crazy like how many peppers you discover like being a grower. It's like, oh yeah, this one's like makes a ghost pepper. It's like scientifically 120 times hotter. And you're just like, oh, like why? But I have them growing there, so
awesome. We'll see. I want to try this sauce.
Yeah. As soon as I have a bunch of products planned, and they're going to be small batch stuff. The state of Texas allows me to sell stuff, so this is probably the first thing in my life I'm taking.
August, I'll swing by and get some.
I feel bad for you. Don't go to San Antonio. That's like
I know. I have a conference there. I gotta go.
Oh God, that's even worse. San Antonio got stuck in 2002. It's the saddest thing I've ever seen. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right. So one last question for our lovely guest. So being in, sociology is your career field. Do you have any advice for people that are just having a tough time, had a tough go of it? What would you recommend someone that just isn't having a very good day?
I always say I do crisis counseling, by the way. So when I meet somebody who's in a really bad place, facing a crisis at the time, or just really depressed or whatever, I always say, if I asked somebody to describe you, people in your close social circle, write down what they would say to describe you. And 99% of the time, it's going to be positive feedback. It's going to be, I'm a loyal friend. I'm a good listener, blah, 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 blah. I'm motivated. And then you go to think about it. I'm not as crappy of a person as I think I am. Other people would actually describe me in a positive light. And that's very uplifting. I also recommend journal. If it's somebody going through any kind of depression, journaling works wonders. I even journal myself. It really helps. I also say set short-term goals for yourself, achievable goals that you can achieve, so that you feel successful. If you set these long-term goals, like, hey, I want to open a huge brick and mortar store with my reseller business by next year, and if I don't, I'm a failure. You set yourself up already. How about I want to increase my profits in the next 6 months by 20%. Once you hit that goal, the feeling is amazing. I do that all the time with my business. I set little goals. I do with everything, not just my business. I set little achievable goals that I know I can attain, and then I can set another one after that. So that's my advice. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. It's a simple life rule. We're all just trying to get through this crazy journey together.
That's right. Because one of the best quotes I've seen out there is, you never know what someone else is going through. So
it's true.
Might as well just smile and say good morning,
Yeah, right. Make some
that's how you end on a positive note, Bobby B. We ain't talking about
hearing that
people and dropping babies and shit. That's
we're all just trying to get through life, not being reminded about our flaws.
That's right, because high school is over. Life is happening now.
We're adults now.
If I had to write down what my friends thought about me, I promise you I'd be more depressed and in a worse situation.
No, you wouldn't. I can give you some positive feedback right now.
No, don't worry. I appreciate everything you said. I would appreciate everything you said, and it means a lot.
Hit her up on Instagram, man. We now have a sociologist in our corner.
See?
That's not a good thing for me.
That's the best thing about this online community, man. You get to meet the best people.
It's just a reminder of how little I've accomplished.
No,
I'm playing. Okay. All right. Let's end this already. I'm sweating like crazy. I want to go get some beer.
All right.
Oh, is Mess okay?
I guess I'll see y'all next time.
Yeah, it was great. It was great.
I don't know if you're planning to go to the Posh Fest conference, but you should.
Where's it at?
It's in Orlando in October.
Ooh.
I'm going for sure. I want to talk to people and meet peeps. You know what I mean?
All right, Posh Fest in Orlando. I might actually go to that. I might actually be available because
it's like the 6th and 7th, or it's on Poshmark. You have to check it out. But bye, Scrotum. Thank you for joining us.
Bye, Scrotum.
Thanks for hanging out.
Everyone in the chat, if you're listening to this, even if you're rewatching, thank you, big time.
Thank you. Don't forget to hit the like button.
That's right. Mess Hall Diggs. I hope you had a good time, Tina. You know, I told you it was gonna get woo.
I love it.
Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you on the next one.
Okay, we'll see y'all. Bye.
Goodbye. Okay, is it